Hi, welcome back. So we've covered decisions and a commitment, and now we were looking at planning. Now, one of the things that everybody says about planning is you first take a look at where you are, where you want to go, and then how you get there. As they say in the army, what do you have? What do you need? How do you get it? But with the job search, it may be a little bit more difficult. There are a few more things to consider. Now, what we do in the seminar is we have a tool called Top Tips, which we explain there, but it's a little bit too long to explain here. But there are about 3 things that I really wanted to share with you that may be really helpful, especially for a job search. Well, I'll take a story out of my life again to illustrate it, which comes from the very, very beginning of my career, because that's where all this stuff happened, right? You know, I made all these mistakes in the beginning of my life, and you can just as well benefit from them. As you know, I wanted to become an actress, and I needed to get auditions. So I thought, okay, how do you get auditions? Well, how do you get other jobs? Well, you take a look in the newspaper. I took a look at the newspaper, and it advertised a telephone actress. And I thought, what is a telephone actress? Well, it's probably something like voiceovers, right? So I gave the number a call. And this is how it went. So I'm listening to the tone and somebody picks up. And the first thing I hear is, "Hello, this is Fluffy." And I thought, okay, do I have the right number? What number is this? And the voice changes right away and says, okay, this is a telephone sex hotline. So if you want to have a job here, you got to get with the program. I said, no. Thank you. So I said no to this one, And then I went back to my acting teacher and I told him what happened, and he just laughed and he told me, okay, you have to get an acting agent. I said, okay, how do I get an acting agent? And he said, well, take a look at, whatever the publication was. So I took a look at the acting agents and I got one. So I asked her if she had a job for me. And she said, yeah, I've got a job, next Saturday. And I thought, oh, this is really cool. I've got a new job already. But she didn't really give me all that much information about it. So I turned up and I thought, okay, now I've got my first acting job. And what the acting job was I was a dancing paperback in a parade. They literally put this bag over my head and I had to go and dance in that parade. And I couldn't even see anything because I didn't have these slits. So somebody took me by the hand and I had to go through the parade. Afterwards, I called my agent and said, well, this wasn't really the kind of acting that I was looking for. And which gives you the lesson that, ask for something specific that you actually want, what kind of job you want and what you think you're qualified for. The agent said, okay, well, I do have a real acting job, and if you want to give that a try. So it's a children's birthday party, but there's a lot of adults there as well. And it's singing the song of Titanic. And I thought, okay, this is a real good job, because singing the song of Titanic, that's a pretty difficult job. And, Celine Dion has such a beautiful voice, and it's pretty high for my voice as well. And I thought, but, I can do this. And, this is a really good start for me. And then I asked her, well, backing track. So the DJ, does he have a backing track? And she said, well, I don't know. You got to call him. So I called him. And he said, yeah, I've got a backing track. No problem. And you got to understand that, at the time, this was 1998 or 1999, and you didn't have iTunes at the time where you could just download this stuff. I was kind of dependent on him. So I said, can we try this? And, can we rehearse this once? Because I have to make sure that the pitch is right and everything. And he said, well, I don't have time. And I said, well, I really need to take a look at this. And, well, I've got a gig tonight. If you want to come by, you can come by. I said, okay, I'll come by then. So I came by and he gave me the headphones for about the first 8 bars. But because he was working at the time, he needed the headphones back. So after 8 bars, he asked for them back. So, I gave him the headphones back. So I asked him, this seems to be all right, but, can we rehearse it at least once? And he said, no, I don't have time. I can stay until the end of this gig of yours, and then we just do it once. No, I don't have time. Every professional actress that I ever worked with could just sing this without rehearsing it. I thought, okay. well, I'm a professional actress now too, right? I can sing this too without rehearsing. Of course, yeah, of course I can do this. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I can do this. And I practiced the song at home, and I got this beautiful dress, and the dress, just renting that dress cost me about as much as the whole acting performance paid for me. But I thought, I really need to ace this. So I'm showing up, and everybody's there, and there's so many people there, and I'm standing on the stage with this beautiful dress, and I'm a bit nervous, but I think I can really ace this. And the song starts, and everything goes well for the first 8 bars. And then it turns out it's a dance track. One of these tracks where you hear the real song in the beginning and then all of a sudden the beat changes. And in this case, the beat changed to a quarter of the tempo. Now, I had never heard a dance track before because these things were really quite new at the time and I just didn't know about them. I didn't know this could happen. So it went kind of like this. Near, far, wherever you are, I believe that the heart does go on. Once more, you open the door, and you're here in my heart, and my heart will go on and on. Oh, it was so embarrassing. And they were all looking at me like, oh, this was such a bad experience. But you know what? It did teach me a valuable lesson, which is always rehearse, no matter what the DJ says, no matter what the director says. This actually really helped me about 2 years later when I came to London for the first time and I was supposed to be singing the song in the London Palladium. Now, the London Palladium is a huge venue, right? And it's a venue where all these really important and really famous people have sung before, like Frank Sinatra and all these people. It's like a little bit like Carnegie Hall in New York, or at least it was at some point. So this was a really, really important gig for me. And it was a musical review, which was at lunchtime, and the Palladium was sold out. And but there were a lot of other actors there as well. So the director gave me only one rehearsal with the orchestra. There was a live orchestra backing me up, and then there were all these dancers and stuff. So I got one rehearsal with the orchestra. And everything goes well until the really dramatic moment. And all of a sudden, everything goes awry. And I don't know why, because I've done it exactly like they did, it was on the tape, because they didn't give me a score. They just gave me a tape to rehearse to at home. And I thought, okay, I got to figure out what happened here. I went to the director and said, we got to figure out what happened. Can we do this again? And she said, no, we don't have time, because there are other actors here who don't have your experience, and we can't do this again. And I thought, okay, I need to figure this out, otherwise this is going to be really embarrassing. So I went to the orchestra director and I asked him, can I take a look at the score, because something went wrong here? And he just went, well, it's an orchestra score. You can't read that anyway, but take a look. Well, he was wrong. I can read an orchestra score. So I took a look, and it turns out there were 4 more bars in the orchestra score than in what they gave me in the tape that I had at home. I thought, okay, I really need to practice this and practice the timing, because how you do the dynamics and everything. So I went back to the director and said, what, there are 4 bars more in there. And she kind of looked at me and went, I can show it to you here. This is where they are. And she kind of looked at this and she said, oh, okay, you get 1 more rehearsal. So I got 1 rehearsal in the morning of the performance, and everything went well, and it was exactly the right timing. And the performance was one of the best performances I've ever given. And it was such a beautiful experience for me. And I think it was a really beautiful experience for the audience as well. I really connected with the audience. And this would not have happened. It would have been so embarrassing if I hadn't insisted on that one more rehearsal. And that was because I hadn't insisted on it with the Titanic song. So the Titanic song wasn't really a failure. It was a learning experience. So it was worth it. One of the things that I didn't know in the Titanic episode yet was there's one more element to the whole planning thing. And that is, there was a point in my life where I was almost upgraded in an Oliver Stone movie to a real acting role. And the emphasis is on almost. And the reason I was almost upgraded is I had a plan A. I had even prepared my plan A. I had prepared my plan A all day. Unfortunately, I didn't have a plan B or a plan C or a plan D. And I was so nervous at the time that I couldn't improvise. So I stuck with my plan A, and that was not a good idea. And we get to that story at some point, maybe in the seminar or in the webinar. But one point I really want to, give you is do have backup plans. Do have a plan B, do have a plan C, do have a plan D. Be flexible within them, but do prepare all of them. And this is really what I wanted to get to today. And there's one more element that we have for the whole introductory bit, and we will cover that next time. Be well, and I hope you're having a great week, and see you next time.